Hey there, welcome back to the Empowered and Abundant podcast. I'm so excited to be talking with you today. Now, for me, it feels like it's been forever since I've recorded a podcast episode because the past six episodes that came out before this, I batched in advance. I recorded them all when I was preparing for my launch of the Empowered Abundance program, and now I'm recording again for the first time in over a month. And in that like 6 week, 5, 6 week period where I wasn't recording any episodes and I was just marketing and, having consults for the Empowered Abundance program, I came up with 25 ideas for podcast episodes. So I have lots of new episodes coming in the future, and I'm really excited to share them all with you. And today, at the time that I'm recording this, I am hosting the Abundance Codes workshop. Right now, as I'm recording it, it's the last week for enrollment for the Empowered Abundance program. And I had this inspiration like a week ago that I wanted to host a workshop, but I wanted to host a different workshop than I had ever hosted before. I have like lots of awesome workshops that I've hosted, and I was like, oh, I could just reuse this and it would be so valuable, but I just didn't feel the inspiration or the call. And then I had this sudden idea in the middle of the night, like I usually do in my business, and was like, oh my gosh, I know what the workshop's going to be. It's going to be called Abundance Codes. It's going to be a totally new look at money manifestation. It's going to be bringing in the power of harnessing your money to step into abundance now. And so that's what I've been working on for the past week is building out the workshop of abundance codes and unlocking the codes to stepping into abundance now. And I'm actually hosting this workshop later today in just a few hours. And so I figured now's the perfect time to record a podcast episode that ties into the power of using your money to manifest magic. And that's really the primary topic of the abundance codes workshop. And you know what? I'll put the link down below. You can still get the recording of the abundance codes if you weren't there live, if you didn't even know this was happening. You can still get access to this free workshop. So check the link down below to go ahead and get your hand on that. I think it's like one of the best workshops I've ever hosted. And honestly, I think that every time I come up with a new workshop, but I'm always evolving and growing. So the workshops and the master classes just keep getting better and better. So go ahead and make sure you get that link down below. But let's talk about like using your money as a tool to create magic. And this is the different approach that I have on money manifestation. So often people focus on manifesting money and like, okay, I'm manifesting money, I'm trying to get more money. But this is keeping the actual abundance outside of us, right? Because we're trying to get money from a place of not having money. In order to even operate from the belief of like, I need to get more money, you must have this underlying thought that what you have isn't enough, and therefore I'm trying to get more. This foundational common approach to money manifestation is actually pushing money away from you. It's having the opposite effect. And so, in order to truly manifest money and to truly step into the abundance that you desire, instead of focusing externally on just trying to get more money, what you have to turn your attention to is how to feel abundant now with the money that you already have. How to step into the energy of abundance now and be living your most abundant life now. That is how you make abundance your reality. In fact, that's the only way to make abundance your reality. This is why so many people that I talk to All the clients that I work with have a variety of income levels. They're making different amounts of money, but they still struggle with feeling like they don't have enough. No matter how hard they work or how much they do, they still wish they had more money. It's because it's not about the amount of money that you have, it's about your relationship with money. And again, if you're chasing money and you're trying to get more of it, you're doing it from this place of not having. So, in order to step into abundance, what you have to do is step into the energy of having now. And how you do that is by being in control of the money that you already have, being intentional and strategic with the money that you already have, and wielding the power of your money to actively create the life you want to live. And this is how we step into abundance now. It's also how we not only manifest money, but actually use our money as a tool for manifestation. That's my perspective on what money manifestation should be. Because it's not actually about the money, right? If you want to manifest more money, there's a reason why, right? You want to live a more abundant, fulfilling life. When you have more money, then you'll get to travel. You'll get to have more adventures. You'll get to take time off work. Maybe you'll be able to leave your full-time job. You'll be able to pursue your business. You'll be able to work when you want to. You'll be able to have fun. You'll be able to go out to eat more. You'll be able to go on adventures. You'll be able to support your family, right? You'll be able to buy the family homestead that you've been dreaming about your whole entire life. Whatever it is that you want, that's the purpose behind manifesting more money. But sometimes we get so caught up in the manifesting more money part, and we're just focusing on the money that you don't have yet, and I need more, and I need more, and the money that I don't have yet, and I need more, as opposed to focusing on the kind of life that you want to live as a result of having that money. And so instead of focusing all of your time and energy and mental effort and attention on getting more money, instead, the focus should be on living that life, living your most abundant life right now with the money that you already have. Because if you don't know how to do that, if you don't have this skill, then it doesn't matter how much money you have. You don't know how to create and live your most abundant life. And it's so important to create your abundant life now and to feel truly abundant, because when you do, that's when you open up the door for more money to flow in, right? Because you're acting and living from a place of abundance, and that's what attracts money. Right? I've heard so many people focus on different money manifestation techniques, affirmations, thinking positive, this, that, and the other, but it's all rooted in this place of only focusing on the money as opposed to focusing on what does my abundant life look like. And so, and also, I think it's not fully like utilizing the power of the money, because money is a powerful tool for manifestation and creation. And so only focusing on trying to get more money is actually like ignoring and being ignorant to the true power that lies in your money. And you can start to practice and exercise and wield this power right now with the money that you have. You don't have to become more abundant. You don't have to bring in more money and more wealth in order to practice wielding this power. You can practice wielding your manifestation powers that you literally already have with the money that you already have. And once you do that, that's what opens up the door for more to flow. But at that point, you don't even really need more the same way that you did before, because you're already living your most abundant life. Right? This is like I'm going to say Buddhist philosophy. I'm sure it's like Buddhist philosophy, manifestation philosophy, surrender experiment. If you've ever read that book, like when you're trying to push to manifest something and you're like, I'm in like over masculine, like gripping hard, trying hard, pushing hard, doing everything right, it doesn't work. Have you ever tried that in your life, in your business? Like, I want something and I'm like working hard from it, but I'm doing it from this place of desperation, and it feels like no matter what I do, it's constantly out of reach. Let me tell you, I have done this. I've done this in my business. I mean, I've been in business almost 5 years, and there have been so many periods of time where I shifted into like over strategy mode, where I was like, I'm going to do all the right things. I'm going to post 5 times a week, and I'm going to have a content schedule, and I'm going to do it right and make sure I'm like using these formulas for my language and da 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 da. But I was doing it from this place of like not enoughness. Like, I'm not good enough. I need to follow this strategy. This is the way to be successful. Like, I'm going to force it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to be in control. I'm going to do it. Right? It's like you're running a really hard race. And I like never landed. I mean, never might be an exaggeration, but it was hard for me to actually land sales while being in that energy. And then I would wonder, like, what am I doing wrong? Why isn't it working? And the more that I could recognize that this was happening, take a step back into my enoughness, right? This is something we talked about on previous podcast episodes, not enoughness versus enoughness, is when I could step into my enoughness, when I could surrender some of the result and the control and the desperation that I was attaching to my sales and my clients. Like, I really need this money. I'm not going to survive. Or it means something about me and my business. Like, I'm a failure if I don't achieve my goals for this launch and this group round or whatever, right? And instead, I could surrender some of this and step into I am enough, I'm good enough, I have enough money to survive, I'm okay. Let me enjoy this experience. Let me enjoy my life right now. Let me be happy and content. Let me see that I do have enough here in this moment. Let me be sufficient with what I have and even satisfied with what I have. And from there, releasing some of this grip and this pressure on money, that's what then allowed those sales to come. That's a totally different energy to bring into your business and to bring into your life. And that's when clients started coming out of the blue. Something that I posted was actually getting traction. And that's the same method of money manifestation that I'm talking about here. It's focusing on stepping into the abundance now. Instead of trying to manifest money, use your money to manifest. And once you have mastered the art of that, money's going to flow to you naturally. You don't have to do anything to manifest money except be in your abundance. So it's less important to focus on like, how am I manifesting money? And instead just be abundant. And then the money will come naturally because you are abundant. So of course you're going to attract that money. Now, it's easier said than done. I know you're like, awesome, great, that makes sense. But like, how do I actually do that? How do I step into the energy of abundance right now? And this is exactly why I created the Empowered Abundance program, is to teach you the exact steps for how to do that. But I'm going to share with you like one of the key ways that you can make this happen, and one of the most powerful tools that you can start to utilize to create this now. And this has been a huge part of my journey of actively living my most abundant life. I would say I have been very actively living my most abundant life for nearly 5 years now. I've been on my personal growth journey for longer, but I started my business almost 5 years ago. And throughout that time, I have been able to travel to 12 different retreats all over the country, all over the world. I've been able to invest in coaching, personal growth and personal development. I've been able to hire 4 high-ticket business coaches to support me on my business journey, to help me on my mindset journey. I've been able to travel to attend networking events. I've been able to invest in a lot of different certifications and training programs to develop my skills in my coaching and in other healing modalities and in modalities that are exciting to me, like Reiki and fascial release and yoga, and also coaching and improving my skill set there. And I've really, really gotten to live my best life. I was able to do a 64-day sailing trip down the east coast of the United States while running my business on a sailboat, right? Not everybody can say they did that. And I was able to really like go full time in my business as well. I was able to actually leave my part-time restaurant job that I had been working in for 3 years and say, you know what, I'm ready to go full time in my business. And this to me is what my most abundant life looks like. Getting to prioritize fun and travel and adventure, getting to grow my skill sets, getting to grow my business, getting to be financially supported doing the work that I love, getting to travel, getting to keep focusing on personal growth and development. This is what my most abundant life looks like. And so, how was I able to do this? How was I able to create it? And I was able to do it with my money by investing in my most abundant life. It's so simple. Your money is a powerful tool for manifestation. When you spend your money, you are choosing something, you're creating something, you're manifesting something. In fact, you're manifesting your life all the time. This current life that you're living, guess what? You manifested it with how you have chosen to spend your time, your energy, and your money. But your money is really potent. Your money is a powerful manifestation tool and creator. And so to really step into abundance, one of the fastest ways that you can do it is to one, bring awareness to how you're spending your money, but even more than that, understand the power of investments. That is how not only you live your most abundant life now, but you also rapidly expand and grow. And yes, I just shared with you everything that I've gotten to do, everything that I've prioritized or created, all the traveling I've done. I shared all of that with you, but I had to spend money on all of those things. Right? And so looking back on the past 5 years in my business, I've spent nearly $150,000 on my business, on traveling, on everything that I just described to you. It all cost money. And it was around $150,000. And so again, so often people are focused on the skill set of making more money, but I have been really focused on the skill set of effectively spending and of investing money. Like that's 50% of the equation there is being aware of how you are actually spending that money intentionally and consciously and strategically to actively create your most abundant life. And investments are so powerful because they're an opportunity to commit fully to your most abundant life, to go all in, to say, yes, this is happening. I am choosing this. This is who I am. I am somebody that owns a coaching business. I am somebody that believes in my business enough that I'm willing to commit more time and energy and money to it. I'm willing to learn the skills I need to learn for it to be successful. I am somebody that prioritizes personal growth and development. I am somebody that prioritizes travel. I'm somebody that prioritizes being in rooms with higher income earning people, with people who are thinking about their businesses and taking their businesses seriously. I'm committed to taking time away from my business, prioritizing my health and my well-being. I'm right? Like these are things that I have chosen to prioritize with my money. And so when you invest your money in different things, big or small, you are actively choosing something, deciding something, and affirming something with your money. That's what an investment is you are investing now for the sake of future growth. Right. And often we think of financial returns, and that is a part of it, right? If you're investing in something, you want there to be an expected financial return. But at the same time, there's like an internal energetic return that has to also happen as well in order for the financial return to also happen. When you're investing outside your comfort zone and you're actively stretching yourself to invest in bigger ways, what's happening is you're committing to your vision in bigger ways. You're committing to yourself in bigger ways. You're committing to your business in bigger ways, and you're committing to your most abundant life in bigger ways. And that's what allows that vision to become more true quicker. That's what allows you to quantum leap into the person who is living that vision, right? Because your most abundant self will choose these things, will live this life. If your most abundant self prioritizes travel and adventure, then you have to prioritize travel and adventure now in order to be living your most abundant life. Okay, this again comes back to this idea of like someday when I have more money, then I'll get to live my most abundant life and do the things I want to do. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. The only way, okay, this is really important. Listen, the only way that you can live your most abundant life is by living your most abundant life now. The only way that you can live your most abundant life is by living your most abundant life now. Because we only have the present. We only have this present moment right now. There literally is no past and there literally is no future. Like right now is all that exists, truly. And so if you want to live your most abundant life, you have to find the ways to create it and live it now, to make your vision a reality now. Otherwise, you're perpetually keeping it in the future and you're keeping it away from you. Right? This is like when you say, okay, someday when I'm rich, I'm going to travel. I'm going to do that thing I really want to do. And you put it off, you put it off. And you're like, okay, someday when I have more money. And you put it off and you put it off. And it never happens because you're keeping it in the future. Instead, when you invest intentionally with your money in what's most important to you, what is in alignment with your vision and your most abundant life, that's when you make it true now, right? So if in your vision, if in your abundant life, you're somebody that travels, then you have to prioritize travel now. Otherwise, it doesn't exist, right? That's how you bring your abundance into your reality now. Okay. And it doesn't have to be based on money, like the amount of money that you have. Yes, I have taken some very higher priced retreats to like the jungles of Costa Rica and Mexico and places all over the country. But you don't have to do that, right? You get to decide how much of the money that you currently have, like what percentage of the money you currently have available, do you want to dedicate towards this priority of traveling and adventure? And it could be a lot. It also doesn't have to be, right? Maybe you go on a camping trip. Maybe you take a road trip and it doesn't cost that much. Like you can do it in affordable ways. That's the other thing is we have this expectation that our most abundant life is expensive. But you know what? When I work with my clients, and this is actually a huge part of the Empowered Abundance program, is how to make the vision real now, right? These are key empowered abundance lessons that I'm dropping right now. Is that the thing that I see time and time again is that your vision really doesn't have to cost that much. It can. There's like the extravagant end of your vision where you're like, I'm staying at a luxury treehouse yurt that's super magical for a month in Greece. You know, it could be that, but it also doesn't have to be right now. It could be the lower version of that. And then again, like I said earlier, because you'll be living your most abundant life, you can prove to yourself, look, I'm doing it. I'm prioritizing travel and adventure. I'm living my most abundant life. Here it is right now. And you'll already be tapped into your abundance, and that will allow more money to flow in naturally, more easily, with less effort and push and force. So it's going to be so much easier for you to actually step into and create the next level version of your most abundant life, where you can do the most luxurious thing. But you have to start by becoming the person who is already choosing and prioritizing and investing in what is most important to you, what truly is your most abundant life. And it can be scary. It can be intimidating to do this, but not doing this is actually holding you back from your growth, from your expansion. If you're somebody that wants to quantum leap, you're like I'm ready for rapid growth. I want to quantum leap into my abundance. Investing is the most powerful way to do it. And when I say investing, it just means like intentionally spending your money with the intention of expansion and growth and returns on those investments. So it's not an amount of money. It could be you could invest $20, you could invest 200, you could invest 2000, you could invest 200,000, right? Like the range is endless, but it's that intention of I am investing in my future, I'm investing in my abundance, I'm investing in my growth. But the thing that I see hold people back, especially in their businesses, is this idea of, okay, I can't invest in this now. I'm going to wait until I have more money, and then I'm going to invest in this thing that I really need. For example, I hear this all the time when I talk to people about empowered abundance. And on the one hand, I get it. It's a higher ticket program. Maybe not everybody is in the space where this feels like it is truly the right investment for them. And that's okay. I'm not saying like foreclose your house and put it on a credit card, or, right? Like you get to decide your level of safety around the investments that you're making. But I will say that when you make investments, the secret sauce is finding the stretch where it is a little bit outside your comfort zone. Because that stretch of being outside your comfort zone is what will lead to the rapid expansion. That stretch slingshots you forward. If you're able, like, okay, here's a story. Let me give you a story. When I first started my business, I was in my business for between 6 months and a year, and I decided to invest in my first ever business coach to help me figure out what the heck I was doing and grow my business. And I hired this business coach for $2,600, so 2,600. And at the time, this was a very intimidating, very scary investment. I felt like I was crazy. I was unsure of how it was going to work out. I didn't know if it was going to be worth it. I didn't know if I would be successful. I didn't know if I would make money. And I was really scared. I was like, this is a lot of money to invest in this, especially when I don't know how it's going to go. And I even remember having like challenging conversations with my boyfriend, my partner, and he was like, is this worth it? And I like was crying, I was unsure, but deep down I knew this formula, right? I knew the abundance codes for how to use my money to affirm and create and manifest what I want. And even though it was really scary, I knew that I had to choose this because for me, that investment was choosing my business, believing in myself, committing to putting even more time and effort and energy into my business, learning the skills that I needed to learn. Now, if I was somebody that didn't take my business seriously and didn't really believe in myself, didn't believe in my business, wasn't that committed to my business, I would not have been able to even make that investment, right? There has to be a certain level of belief and confidence in order to make that investment. But at the same time, it was scary. It was outside of my comfort zone. It felt like a risk. And so there was definitely a stretch there for me. I had to stretch myself emotionally and financially in order to make that investment. And guess what? I did make that investment. Now, did I see direct returns from that investment? I could say no. I did not sign clients during the time that I was in that program. I created my first ever program. It was called Start with Center, and it was about like aligning with your innermost self. I did a whole like made a freebie, promoted it, did a whole launch, tried to launch the Start with Center group program, got zero sales. Right? I could look at that as like a huge failure, and in some ways it was, but at the same time, the value that I got from that investment was huge. Again, just the investment alone was affirming to myself, I am a business owner. I am an entrepreneur. I am a life coach. I take myself seriously. I believe in this. I'm committed to this. I got this. I'm willing to learn and grow. And even though I didn't make my money back directly from that investment, those were the skills that I learned that have now, like, I use those skills now. And also, in order to make that investment, I had to become somebody who was committed enough in my business to be able to make that investment, who was willing to do this work, to put the time and the energy in. Simply going through, but like simply making the investment, simply spending the money has propelled me to be a new person, to be a more aligned, intentional, confident, abundant life coach entrepreneur. And then I did learn skill sets that have now, like, tumbleweeded, what am I trying to say? That have now snowballed into who I am now, the skills I use now, who I am as an entrepreneur now. So even though did I make direct sales from that? No, I had so much more to learn, but that was the first step, and it was 100% worth it because flash forward 3 years after that, this was almost a year ago now. I invested $26,000 in my business in a 30-day period. Okay, so we can flash back to that $2,600 investment in my first ever coach. That was terrifying. I was crying, felt like a huge deal. I didn't know. I thought I was crazy. Am I insane for thinking I can do this? Versus 26,000, which I wasn't even like fully prepared to do. I wasn't like I'm gonna invest $26,000 this month. It was just like two opportunities presented themselves to me, and I was like, yes, I know I need this, and I did it. And honestly, the $26,000 investment was easier to make than the $2,600 investment because in that period of time, I was practicing investing in myself in big ways from all the other things that I told you about, right? Retreats, I worked with other business coaches, I continued to get certifications. I was investing in my business, I was investing in myself, which also meant I was investing in belief in my business, belief in myself, expanding my confidence, expanding my skill sets, where I got more and more comfortable with like taking risk, being in that stretch, being able to invest money in what I believe in, and also be confident in myself that I can get results, that I can look at it from a more like grounded, solid business owner perspective and say, yes, of course this is worth it. I know that I can take this investment and easily make my money back because I'm confident in who I am and because I've done this enough times where I've learned. I've learned what's a valuable investment for me and what's not a valuable investment for me. I know how I'm going to show up. I know I'm going to get my values worth. And so it was easier for me to make that investment, even though it was literally 10 times the investment that I had made 3 years earlier. And guess what? I did make all of that money back from both of those investments. That was the $26,000 because I am now the person who can do that, who can commit to myself at that level, who can stretch myself and be comfortable in that stretch. And that is what has led to exponential growth like internally, who I am as a person, who I am as a business owner, who I am as a life coach and an abundance coach, but also in my revenue. In my business, my revenue has exponentially grown because I have been able to stretch my belief, stretch my ability to invest financially and emotionally in myself. And with each stretch, I slungshot forward into the next level version of me. And then I did that again and again and again, where it's gotten easier and easier to do this work, right? And that's the power of investing in yourself, investing in your growth, investing in your business, and really investing in your most abundant life. Saying, yes, this is what I'm committed to, and I'm willing to stretch myself to do it. And you have to find that place where it's the right stretch for you. I'm not saying like, go be overtly risky and like terrify yourself and risk it all and go for it. But at the same time, the more practiced you get at choosing your abundance, investing in yourself this way, the easier it's going to be for you to stretch, for you to take those risks and also get the returns and the results that come from them. And this isn't for everybody. This is why not everybody is an entrepreneur or a business owner, because not everybody wants to live a life that feels risky. Not everybody wants to rapidly expand or quantum leap or grow in this way. I'm not talking to you. If that's you, I don't know why you're in this industry if you're a coach. That's part of the deal. But for me and my journey, I love rapid expansion. It's what I'm all about. I love growth. I love overcoming challenges. I love pushing myself, becoming a bigger, better, more abundant version of myself. I love having to heal and overcome the fear and the challenges and like find safety within myself so that I can keep going, so that I can keep expanding, so that I can step into the next level version of me, so I can continue to step into my next level of abundance. I can continue to make my vision a reality. That's the part that I enjoy, right? So it's not just about living your most abundant life, like which is all perfect and rainbows and butterflies. Part of living your most abundant life is enjoying the discomfort, enjoying overcoming the challenges, enjoying being faced with the fear and the risk and getting to persevere through that, getting to become a more powerful version of you while going through this journey. And that's what life is about. Life is about enjoying the journey. Life is about growing and becoming and evolving, and investments and money, using your money as part of this process. That's one of the most powerful, impactful, rapid ways that you can expand and grow yourself as a human being, like your personal growth, your personal development, and also your business, your ability to show up and serve and give at a higher level and also receive and bring more money into your life. This is sustainable long-term abundance. And then think about this as well. Like if you are waiting to invest in the thing you really need, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to make more money, and then when I have more money, then I'm going to do it. It's like really hard to make that money because you're just living the same life you've been living. You're operating from the same beliefs, from the same set of circumstances, the same mindset. It's all the same, and yet you're trying to do something differently. It's like the slower route. It takes longer. Versus when you decide to stretch yourself and say, yes, I'm all in, I'm committed. And now, because I'm committed, I have to find out how I'm going to become the person that pulls it off. It's a totally different perspective. For example, I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and we were looking at, like, okay, You say you need more money to make this investment in empowered abundance. How are you going to do that? And we looked at a couple different scenarios. There's always so many options, but if you're not already committed to it, your like willingness and ability to follow through and go all in on that, it's not there. You're operating from a different place. You're operating from within your comfort zone, the way that you've currently been living. Versus if she decided to stretch herself and to commit now and say, yes, I am doing this. I'm going to find a way to make it happen. It's a priority for me. And here's what I'm willing to sacrifice or shift or move around in order to actively prioritize that. The way that she would show up in her life, in her business, would be fueled by the decision that she already made. It would be fueled by the commitment, by the belief. By saying yes to the investment, you have already become the person that has affirmed this new truth, this new reality. And then you can use that momentum to grow. That's why it creates rapid expansion. Okay. And so with empowered abundance, I say this to my people all the time. The moment that you invest in empowered abundance, you have already stepped into your most abundant life. You have already become a next level abundant human being. Because in order to even make the investment, you had to believe that that was true. You had to commit to that being true. You had to say, yes, I am abundant. I believe in my abundance. I care about my vision. I choose my vision. I choose my coaching business. I choose this life. And then you put money on it. And that made it true the moment that you said yes. And then the rest, the 6 months of working together, that's just integration. That's locking it in. That's teaching you how to like truly allow it to be your new reality. But the investment is the first most important piece because the investment is the quantum leap. The investment is the slingshot. The investment of money in your vision is the most powerful way that you can bring your vision into reality because you're saying, yes, now it's here. Yes, I choose this. Yes, I commit to this. That's what happens when you invest your money. That's why it's the most powerful and most potent way to quantum leap, right? And this is what happens when my clients join Empowered Abundance is they have to have stepped into their next level of abundance to a degree that they were able to say yes. There's lots of people who say no. There's lots of people who say not right now. And that's because you're not fully ready to make this commitment and investment to yourself and become the person who is able to do it. What would happen? Just imagine for yourself. And you can use Empowered Abundance as an example, or you could use like another investment, something you've been putting off. Like, what would happen if you decided, yes, no matter what I'm doing this, I'm in right now? How would you act? What would you do? How would you make it possible? How would you take action? And how is that different than if you said, okay, I'll do it in the future when I have more money? Right? You see, like that lights a fire under you to say, okay, I'm committed to this and now I have to follow through. Like I have locked myself into this new belief, this new reality, this new way of being. And now I get to prove it to myself. Now I get to become that person. And so, again, it really comes back to your belief in yourself, your belief in your ability to make abundance your reality, and your desire to make abundance your reality. And this is a practice. It grows over time. Like I said, I started off with small commitments and investments, and that has grown over time. In fact, I'm the type of person now where I was driving the other day and my business coach announced that she extended the length of her coaching program and like it's a $15,000 investment. Right. And I'm sitting in my car and I hear this. Oh, okay. It's going to be a $15,000 investment. And I was like, yes. Oh my gosh. Awesome. That's such a deal. Okay. I was that person Okay, if you had asked me 4 years ago, that would not have been the case. But I have grown into like my perspective, my relationship to these investments, and my ability to get more value out of them has totally shifted and grown where now, like, that's the level that I'm operating from now, right? And if someone said it was like a $15 investment, right? Like that's what it feels like to me. Not quite, like $15,000 is definitely different than $15, but you can be on the same journey too of expanding more and more into your next level of abundance. And that starts by investing what you have, using the money that you currently have to prioritize and choose your most abundant life, to choose what is most important to you, to look at your vision of your most abundant life and use your money to make that vision a reality starting right now. And the more that you do that, the more money is going to flow in, which will empower you to continue to rapidly expand and grow. It all happens at the same time, right? It's not going to happen if you wait until the future when you have more money and then, right? Like if you really want to rapidly expand and grow and step into your abundance now, you have to start with the money that you have. You have to start by making abundance your reality now and using the power of your money to manifest that and to make that your reality. Okay. So investments are powerful. You got this, and you have the power to start investing right now, whether it's in empowered abundance or whether it's in something else, right? You can start small and build your way up, but it's an act of choosing what's important to you. And if you were living your most abundant life, what would that look like? And how can you create that now with the money that you already have? Okay, I talk so much more about this in the abundance codes workshop. You're definitely going to want to watch it, especially if you found this episode valuable. I know that like watching that workshop is just going to even more deeply ingrain this and give you more perspectives for how to take this lesson to the next level. But really, this is everything. Like everything that I talk about in Empowered Abundance all comes down to this work. So once you learn this, it's going to change everything for you, and abundance gets to be your reality starting right now. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next week.